Why would someone move out of California?
I'm a crime scene investigator. What if I were to stop crime scene investigation and move abroad?
If I was walking the dog or if I was just walking alone, you can't help but think, is this car gonna shoot me? Living in Spain allows you to feel human. You're in a producing machine. You don't have to be in this fight or flight mode the rest of your life.
Good evening, Adam, Gabby. So happy that you accepted my invitation.
Yes.
Happy to be here. Thanks for reaching out.
First of all, I like to start always to understand where are you coming from originally. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Southern California, just north of Los Angeles, and
I grew up in Northern California, a small city called Watsonville, near Santa Cruz County, California, East Coast, or
Southern.
West Coast.
since you're gone since a long time, right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
And you decided to move out of California. Why would someone move out of California? But we get later to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have a I guess, understanding. A lot of people run away from things. We weren't running away from anything. We had a beautiful life, beautiful community, but we were running towards, I guess, growth. We've always wanted to move abroad. It's been in the conversation for about 4 years. So we were just excited to invest this time as a family abroad. So yeah, it's not why we left, but more so the joys and excitement of growing in another city, another country.
But the question is, were you always, so if we talk about your youth, were you outside of the US in your youth?
I was not. I didn't leave the United States. I mean, I did take a small trip to Canada in 8th grade,
Okay, that doesn't
but I
count.
didn't start
That doesn't count.
doesn't count. I didn't start exploring outside the United States really until I met this guy. And so I was well into my 20s.
So Adam, you are guilty.
Yeah, so I think what it was is that I after graduating college, I spent about 3 months in South America. And in that time in South America, I realized I felt more alive. My brain was working better. I was making new relationships with friends all over the world. So I kind of got addicted to the lifestyle of being abroad. So my entire adult life, I was thinking, how could I make this work? And obviously now I'm married and with 2 daughters, we decided, like, how can we make this a reality? So we started digging deep, conversations 4 years ago, and then we started getting a little bit more serious maybe 2 years ago.
Mm.
But the question, so you are having both jobs in the US, right?
Before
Yes.
moving, yes.
Before moving, yes. And what was take me a bit through the decision making process, because like you had good jobs as far as I discovered on your Instagram account. So you had good jobs, both good careers. Was the grinding process from US that kind of made you think about something else, or was only the wish to be somewhere outside of the US?
I'll start first on that one. So, yes, the field that I was in, I'm still kind of a part of it. I'm a crime scene investigator, and that has been my passion since a little kid. And I've been doing crime scene investigation for 15 years. And so when you say the grind, yes, that job is amazing, but it is a grind. You work a lot. And when COVID happened, life kind of slowed down. And this is when the idea started, like, what if I were to stop crime scene investigation and move abroad and no longer have that be a part of my life? And I was completely open to it. I'm a mom and I love being with my children. I love being able to spend time with my husband. And the thought of moving abroad was going to give me that. I had to stop crime scene. And I think it was just the right, timing is right. Everything kind of came together, right timing.
Yeah, and I think for me, I've been working remote since 2019. So COVID really made the world smaller. A lot of people started going on Zooms, just like you and I are doing right now on this amazing podcast. Zoom kind of connected the world. So we started thinking, well, if I could make income remotely anyways, do we have to be in this city? Do we have to be in this country? At first, we were thinking, okay, maybe we sell our house in California, maybe we move to Texas or Florida. And again, it was just this idea of alternative thinking because COVID kind of turned the world upside down with so many different
Mm.
options. And then we started thinking maybe Portugal. So we took a trip to Portugal in
Mhm.
2022 for Christmas. We took the girls and we said this could definitely be a reality. So we ended up choosing Spain. We're in Valencia and we're super, super happy about that decision.
So of course, working from home for you was an option. For Gabby was not an option. Let's be honest
Right.
about that as well. So I think that's.
Yeah.
I keep saying, of course, we had some bad events during COVID as well. But I keep saying it when I'm discussing with my wife. That was amazing because we had a small kid as well, and it was the perfect time that we get to spend with him. And like you said, Adam, the world was slowing a bit, and you get to
Mhm.
enjoy the fact that there is life after work. There is life after
Right.
this
Yes.
grind that you have there.
Right.
Okay, you said you went into Portugal, you moved into Spain. Were there other countries in your process, or was Spain the beginning and the end? Let's say it like this.
I think in a far off fantasy, there was maybe Asia, but I think the reality of it is we wanted to be fully bilingual. So my father was born in Mexico.
Okay.
He didn't really teach us Spanish as kids. It wasn't really encouraged. He wanted us to excel as English speaking individuals. But as I started getting older, I wanted to become fluent and I wanted our daughters to be fluent. So we
Mhm.
were thinking Mexico, but the wife said, no way. Maybe it's not the safest country on paper. We love Mexico. We have a house there. Um, but the other one was Portugal and then Spain. So we opted for Spain.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense from the language perspective. It makes sense, but I also understand the perspective of your father because I have the same with my son.
Right.
I insist to speak I insist with him to speak German. So and we also put on the side Romanian because you think we are here and we have to be part and integrated, and you wish to have
Right.
everything for him, right? So I
Right.
completely understand the idea behind what your parents did. So you decided Spain. You decided Valencia directly, or you decided Spain only, and then you start searching around.
So once Spain was on our radar, we kind of started YouTubing all like the main cities. Because we have kids, we wanted to make sure that there was plenty of amenities for them with arts, um, just diversity, schooling, all that stuff was in consideration. But so, we thought about Madrid, and to us, Madrid was like New York City. It's a big, big city. There's a lot going on. And it's like, do we really want to navigate a huge city on our first move abroad? Barcelona was also on our radar. Beautiful, but like a party. We were there 10 years ago and it was amazing. And all I could think of is I'd want to go clubbing every night. And that's not where we're at in life.
Correct, correct. Yeah.
And so then Valencia came on, our radar. And the more we dug into it, the better and better it sounded. Uh everything we researched has been absolutely true. It's a beautiful city. It is on the small side. I do feel like I'm in a village at times, but that's perfect. And there are tons of activities, tons of restaurants, tons of cultural events that meet all the requirements so that we're exposing our girls to the Spanish life.
Which is nice. They are growing there, so I think it's really cool. So you decided on Valencia. You said, okay, now I start to do the boring stuff. We start to do the boring stuff, which is the the paperwork. How that process went.
Well, we're not the originators of this term, but we started saying that things were Spainful. Ah, it's Spainful, which is another word for painful. So the bureaucracy was definitely painful, but there are people that reminded us that that is the introduction. Like, you want this beautiful lifestyle of Spain, you're gonna have to go through this hazing period. So knowing that, we're like, yeah, we're excited about it. We're kind of getting our butts kicked with the paperwork and whatnot, but that is what you have to go through if you truly want this beautiful life, because Spain offers so much for our family. So
Yeah. There are nights where, it's a big decision to make. And once you finally committed, you're all in and the process begins. And there were nights and early mornings, like I would wake up and just be looking at the ceiling, lying in bed thinking, oh my gosh, this is gonna be impossible. Like, how are we doing this? I would wake him up and I'd be like, I can't turn my brain off. Like, I'm nonstop thinking. But it was just, you just have to quickly remind yourself. It's like eating an elephant, one bite at a time, day by day, take care of the process. And here we are 5 months later. And it's like, we did it. We freaking did it. You just got to get through it.
You went alone through the process, or you used some let's say companies that are helping with the bureaucracy?
Yeah, no, we hired Carlos from American and Legal Spain. So shout out to you, Carlos. But he took us step by step.
Mm-hmm.
Loved the service, super amazing, and we just felt comfortable with them. We connected really well. If it wasn't for him, I think we'd be a little bit freaked out and overwhelmed because there's so much to do. But we felt complete peace of mind working with somebody else for sure.
That's for sure. That's for sure helpful. And I think the most important thing is that you have to realize it's not a pride thing that to say I just need help. You make your life easier. And like you said, it's such a huge step, and you want to make it as easy as possible for you because it's stressful enough anyhow because you
Right.
decided to do it. So if you take the paperwork on you as well, it's complicated. What was family's reaction when you told them, we move abroad a bit and not to Canada?
Um, so for me, I was a little bit more worried to tell my side of the family. One for my dad, you know, I remember just going to visit him one day and we're walking on the property and I was like, how am I going to just tell, like, you know what, Dad? Guess what? We're moving to Spain. And that's just how it came out. And he said, what? And after that, like, I just started blurting out all the information, all the research we've been doing for the past like 2 years that he had no idea about. And both my mom and my dad, they pretty much said, well, it kind of sounds like you guys have everything figured out. You've thought of it all. And it sounds like you're doing it. There's no change in your mind. I'm like, no, no change in my mind.
Yeah, I think for me, our family was super excited. My mom, my dad, sister, everybody was supportive. And I think, like Gabby said, is that we did our research it wasn't like we just decided overnight. This was a 4-year process and then more seriously for 2 years. So we kind of thought about every angle. And once we kind of discussed this option or this possibility, they're like, yeah, there's really no con in doing it. So they were excited and they're happy for us for sure.
I have to say, I have to say all the respect to them because you have to be really selfish because they kind of gave up on seeing their nephews so often, let's say it like this, just because they realize it's something which is good for you, which I think it's amazing. Not a
Right.
lot of
Yeah.
parents are doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you prepare the kids for something like this?
So the way we did it and our style is that we have included them in every step of the way. And I talk about even before we decided, like, let's move. No, it was sitting down during COVID times and thinking, like, let's watch this YouTube about Europe. Let's start discovering Portugal. Oh, let's pick places where you'd want to see. So that kind of gave them their first taste of Europe and what it would be like. And then we kind of had like a family discussion. Well, what if we did Spain and we, did the pros and cons? And so they've been involved in the discussion every step of the way
We
through the whole process.
I remember vividly we were in the backyard of our house, and the girls brought a big white paper and they did like a huge, pros of Lisbon, pros of Valencia. Should we do Portugal, Spain? And I think at the end of the day, Valencia is such a beautiful, convenient city. And then obviously Spanish. So we were like, yeah, let's speak Spanish. But like she said, we included them every step of the way. And it hasn't been easy. I definitely want parents to know that it's going to be hard on your kids. It's hard on adults. It's not the easiest thing. But in the end, it makes the kids a lot better, in my personal opinion. Growth obviously is a better thing for our kids.
Mhm.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think seeing outside of the, let's say, of your cocoon, because like the
Mhm.
place where you grow up, like everyone is around you, is like your cocoon. Going around just develops you further and makes you grow. And I think they will be travelers as well when they are going to be grown ups, because they
Right.
realize, oh, this is so cool, the world is not my village, it's not my city, it's not my county, it's huge, and I want to see it.
Right.
And I think this is just amazing. um Do they speak Spanish, both of them, both of the girls?
Poquito.
Okay.
Cada día aprende más. So we're moving to Spain. I want to be immersed within the culture, and language is huge and very important.
Absolutely.
So we were very, very adamant that we want our children in Spanish speaking schools. And so they are. They go to 2 different schools. It's all Spanish. But we also got a tutor. So we understand like it's going to be difficult and it's going to be slow in the beginning. But from what they were speaking when they first arrived, 5 months now, amazing. Absolutely amazing. So
Like you did everything right. I have to say, guys, that everything was calculated and put together. I have to say, respect. I mean, that's what you call a prepared moving. Not you didn't let anything a chance. I think also for kids it's easier than it's for us. So we are
Right.
we are not that fast in learning new things, and I think they are learning languages. We don't even realize it how fast they learn, and it's so nice. It's really so nice. I keep saying to my son that every extra language that he's learning, it's a benefit. It doesn't matter what
Sure.
kind of language it is.
absolutely.
And guys, you took the ticket, the one-way ticket. You got in the airplane. I guess you had some things, except you only had the luggages, or you already had or something sent over.
No,
so we like to travel light, right? There's, I don't know, I'm horrible with sayings, but if you want to travel far, whatever. I'm horrible with sayings,
It's
but
the one from I saw the movie with my son, but I don't remember. If you want to travel, okay, we are both bad at saying.
it's like if you want to travel, where are you going to travel light? Something like that.
something.
Yeah, it does matter. Yeah, better
If
what
you
you
want to
mean.
go far, carry the least amount with you. But anyways, horrible at sayings. We did garage sales. We sold everything, sold our cars. We just came with one big luggage and then a carry-on. So we knew that we wanted to have a very minimalistic lifestyle moving over here so that we could, ease into it and just not be burdened by things. So we're grateful for that.
How's the apartment hunting? Because usually that's something which is not that easy in Europe. Did you had something booked when you left the US, or you did the hunting after you arrived?
So I'll take this one. So magically, magically, we secured a 2-month lease, okay? 2-month rental, and our landlords were like the angels of angels and had such a strong connection with them. And it seemed very almost too good to be true. So I can't say that that's going to be everyone's experience. So I secured it for 2 months. And then after that 2 months was done, we wanted to explore other apartments and we were having trouble, if
Yeah.
you will. We were going to many apartments, things were getting taken. So we ended up hiring a company. They're called Valencia. They're amazing here in Valencia. They showed us a property before it was even on the market. He said, "Hey, I have a meeting at 5 o'clock. You guys have to go." So because of this hiring process with Valencia, we found a beautiful apartment city centers that we're super excited about.
Yes.
So you were a bit lucky also to find something from the US, because that's not happening. That's
Right,
Yeah. We
right.
And that was the one good thing. So we used Idealista. That's where we found our listing. But you have to, you don't know if that's a real listing, you're being scammed, but that's also where the lawyer that we hired for the visa process, we were able to send him all the information and they were able to verify that this is a legit listing. The individuals are, they're legit all the way. So that gave us peace of mind.
absolutely. You have to be aware of scammers in this case, because it's happening so much.
Right.
Adam, I do guess for you the beginning was a bit easier because of the language, knowing the language, right? But
Yes.
Gabby, I have to ask you, how was the landing? How was for you the first day?
Okay, so I'm half Mexican. I didn't grow up with Spanish in the household, but all of my friends, my relatives, everybody speaks Spanish. So like my ear was attuned to it. I did speak a little bit of Spanish, but I came over here a lot more confident in my Spanish. And then I was very quickly reminded that, girl, you need a lot of help. So, most But the one thing about me is like I'm okay with saying things wrong, and I love trying to say something and then asking the person that I'm like the word like, please tell me how do I say this. So every every day I go to the market. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es el nombre de eso? How do I ask for this? So, and that still happens. I'm still learning every day.
It will take a while. I've seen here since 10 years. Trust me, it's a process. You have to accept it and embrace it. That's the only way.
Right.
Yeah. I think my best advice for people, if you don't speak the language, of course, you need to practice every day, but don't have any fear. Like no one's gonna think, oh, you're stupid, you said that wrong. Like, no. People understand that you're trying, and that's the biggest
I
thing.
have to say, based on the experience, depends on the country. So, yeah.
True. Maybe I'm just oblivious. I'm like, just tell me the right word,
So
please.
I'm telling you, I visit. I'm in the middle south of Germany, and I would do. It's easier to travel to France because like 2 hours of a car drive, which is not that far away, and also Switzerland in the south. So then we go often to Italy. Italy is like 5-6 hours away. So in Italy, when you pretend to speak Italian, you just have to say espresso or cappuccino. They are embracing you. They are talking to you. They are excited. When you go in French and you pretend to speak French, they hate the hell out of you.
I gotta try it.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So when I said bonjour and then I couldn't go on, he was like,
You're cut.
that's it. Yeah. So depends on the country, but you're right. I think that the important thing that I learned as well in the experience here is that you have to start to talk. It doesn't matter how wrong you are saying things. If you don't start to practice, the exercise will not be there. And even though for me, I moved here, and I think the first 3 years I worked in projects only in English. And of course, you hear German around you, not in the meetings or not in the project meetings and so on, but you hear German around you, and I started to understand. But was almost impossible to say something. I was there that I was in meetings in German, understanding everything and answering back in English. And I said, "You don't want to speak." I said, "It's not that you don't want to. It's like you feel like you have a lower IQ, like."
Right. Right.
That's the feeling that you have. Adam, have you had expressions that were different in Spanish than it is in the Spanish that you knew from Mexico?
I would say so, but I'd say generally speaking, it's all pretty similar, right? You could get by. I think the worst Spanish that I speak is street Spanish. So I don't speak street Mexican Spanish. I don't speak street Spain Spanish. So I think so long as we don't have street conversations, I think we're good to go.
There are some words that have completely different
Right.
meanings, and it's hilarious. I won't say, but it's been very entertaining learning these two. But like even today, we had a mom come up, and it was from one of the girls' school, and she was describing, and she said, "Oh, la carpeta de música," and he's like, "The carpet?" But I'm like, yeah, I would think carpeta's carpet, but alfombra's carpet and carpeta's a folder. So it's just learning these, right?
Absolutely.
Different.
Absolutely. And this comes only with practice. So
Right.
it doesn't come from any lessons. And
Right.
I think, Adam, for you, like nobody at home in your family would teach you the street words,
No
right?
no one would teach us the nasty, naughty words. No.
If you learn it with friends, it's different because that's the first thing that you learn. But in this case, it's maybe not the coolest one. What was the biggest culture shock? Was it the late dinners? Was it the free healthcare? Was it the slower pace? Was it the siestas? What do you think that was for you something that you knew is there, but it was more real when you actually seen it?
Yeah, for me, by far was the sobremesa. So when we first came, it was summertime. So obviously things are different in the summertime, but we would go out with friends or have some food, lunch, dinner, and we would just kept talking. And I'm not programmed that way. I'm programmed to be efficient with time and you're gonna eat and you're gonna maybe be there an hour max. But we kept staying at the places, and I'm like, hey, I got meetings. We have things to do. My butt's sore. I need to get up and move. I don't like to be in one place at the for too long. So for me, it was sobremesa. I think now I could do sobremesa, but every once in a while, not daily. But it's definitely a powerful thing to experience for sure.
Yeah. For me, okay, so I still haven't given it up. I and summer is different than this fall winter season, right? But in the States, I've always gone to bed early. Like I go to bed early. I have kids. I don't mind going to bed when they go to bed. And staying up till like not going out to dinner till 9:30, 10, like that I cannot do. Maybe on a weekend, maybe, but so I've held on to the the American culture and me of going to bed early, and I like waking up early. Even though nothing's open, I still like to wake up early and have my mornings. The other thing that is a culture shock that I knew that was going to happen is the ability and how amazing it is to just go out and get a cafe con leche, and to enjoy it and to visit with people. And that the culture of just meeting up to have a quick bite or a pastry, a drink daily, multiple times a day, is absolutely amazing. And I'm so excited that I'm experiencing that now. And I will be so sad if I ever go back to the States because I know that that's not the lifestyle there.
Is there a big difference between the, let's say, the to go lifestyle from US and the staying in lifestyle from Europe? Is such a huge difference?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, even today, we went to a place called El Café de Camilo, and it's right by our house. And we ordered a coffee to go because we had to go pick up our daughter, and then we also had to get some work done. Um, and I ordered it to go, but then three ladies came in and they ordered cafe, and then the lady that was working there had started talking to us. So then it just became a beautiful conversation, and everyone was laughing and everyone was telling stories. So there was a part of me that was like, hey, could I pay now so we could get on with our day? But then you start to transition into this lifestyle of like, just be present. This is a beautiful moment and everyone's laughing, having a good time. So, I think I get caught between worlds, but it's pretty cool to experience.
I think it's a habit that is developing, right?
Yeah,
So it will not be overnight. I had someone in one of the previous episodes was also from US, from the East Coast, so from North Carolina, and they moved to Madrid, and they actually said the same, that the late dinners was something that they said it's first the stomach could not digest the food. Like it was so
right.
late that, and then somehow you got habit, you get used to it, and then you cannot eat at 6 p.m. because you think, "Ah, that's too early." Like that makes
Yeah.
no sense. um what about the walking lifestyle of Spain, of Europe in general?
I'm a huge fan, huge fan. So when we were back home, this is a kind of a joke, kind of not, but maybe I'd get like a 600 to 1,000 steps a day. I mean, horrible. But we would wake up on Saturday and Sunday mornings and do it. We
Go
go
for a walk.
walking. We'd go walking. And people are like, oh, you guys like to walk? Yeah, we love walking. Here, it's every day. And I'm so obsessed with it because
Mhm.
walking is like one of my favorite pastimes. I just love it. I love people watching. I love looking at the buildings. It's just a great way to take things in.
Yeah, we're walking like 5 to 8 miles every day just because we gotta take trips to the schools and to pick up the kids and to run an errand here or go there. And I absolutely love it. I feel healthy. And you get to be outside and be social. Even if you're not talking, you're still social. You're surrounded by the energy of the restaurants and the eye contact and the people. One of my favorite things, and I wanted to ask, I don't know, thinking back now to the United States, like we're very car dependent, and like for the older people, for our great, like our little oldies, if they're can't drive, they don't get out and about. And I see, older men and women here meeting and having coffee. And I think, wow, they have a much more social life. It's much more healthy for them. So it just warms my heart to see it every day.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So I heard, maybe I'm mistaken, but I heard that the biggest cause of death in the not biggest cause, but one of the big reasons for early death is like a loss of balance in older people. So as soon as you start losing balance, you start breaking down, you start breaking bones, and then it starts declining from there. I just had not lunch. I had an afternoon with a 93-year-old woman here in Valencia, and she's walking. And that's the difference. The older generations or the older individuals here are walking, walking, walking. Their muscles are strong. They outlast all of us. And I wanted to pull this up. Yesterday, I walked
Nice.
24,000 steps. 24,000 steps yesterday. So it's a dream.
I think, Adam, what you're saying is absolutely correct. I think we are. I don't want to say the old persons, but the people after a certain age, they give up on on themselves, unfortunately, and they think, you know what, I cannot drive anymore. I don't have anything to do outside. As I said, we go often in Italy. Spain is a bit too far away, but we go often in Italy, and Italy has somehow the same cultures and the same habits. And what I enjoy, and this is what I'm telling my wife as well, this is how I want to get old. Like I see people walking in the city, like with fancy clothes, like 18, 90 people, 80, 90-year-old people with fancy clothes, like going out to have dinner, to have a glass of wine, and to walk there, to walk home, to not needed I don't know, the other thing is called, to the walking helper and so on. And this is something which is amazing, and I think it's just because of this constant walking. And I
Right.
realized I was in the US, and I want to go for a run, and I almost didn't had more than, I think I managed to do 1.2 miles, 1.5 miles, and then there was no more path, and I had to go back and forth, because that's the only thing that I had. Like
Right.
there was.
Right.
Yeah, and people are addicted to their TV screens and their couches. They upgrade their couch, they upgrade their chairs because that's where they're going to spend most of their time. Whereas here, life is experienced
Outdoors.
outside.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
I think the combination, Adam, between this grinding and this sitting, I think it makes the worst out of it, because you are grinding,
right,
you are constantly stressed, and then instead of releasing that stress, going to try to move a bit, try to go outside, you sit and you just zap your TV, or even worse, dumb scroll TikTok or Instagram or whatever it would be, and that's, I think,
Right.
not healthy on the long track.
right.
You said about the locals. You said that you are getting in contact with the locals. For me, and I'm giving you now my experience in the US, going on the East Coast from the north to the south, I have to say that going towards the south, the kindness of people increased. Like I felt a different kind of welcome when I was in the south, towards Florida, maybe a bit north of Florida. How do you see this difference between California and Spain? Do you see the difference, or you say it's kind of the same?
I'm gonna say this. So I think Southern California, we're very warm, we're very welcoming. We're gonna give you a hug. We want to know about your kids, your family, how's life going. So I think it's pretty comparable here in Spain. But also that's how Gabby and I are. If we're seeing you on the streets, we're gonna hug you, right? So I don't know. It's almost like they say that we mirror each other. So Gabby and I are lucky that we're always experiencing warm and kind people. And I don't know if that's because we project that or yeah.
And maybe it's, trying to think. Maybe it's the warmer climate. Southern
Yes.
California is warm. The south of Spain, we're warm.
Yeah.
Florida, the south is warm. It feels good to be outside. We're happy. We're not freezing our butts off, We don't have this
Gabby,
cold, rigid
Gabby, I keep saying this since I'm living in
tundra.
Germany. I understand why the English guys are drinking the hell out of them, because you cannot be happy in that weather. Sorry. That's the only way. Alcohol is the only way. Everything else is a joke.
Right.
I think
And
sorry, please go on.
oh no, I was just, growing up in California, that's just like second nature to us. A lot of people that have come to California, Southern California, either from outside the country to come visit, they go, "Wow, Southern Californians are really like warm, welcoming. You say hello to strangers. You offer help." And I'm like, "Yeah, I thought that was just normal, but I guess it's not."
Nope.
No.
How was your first grocery experience? So I think that's a major gap between US and the Europe grocery style.
Right. The grocery, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take this one first because I love food. I love to cook. I love going to grocery stores. Where we are in Valencia, we are steps away from the biggest indoor market in all of Europe. and it's like heaven. And so I think that's probably all I talked about for the first month to friends and family. It was like, oh my gosh, this produce, there is no organic section. It's all organic, and the flavors, the color, the price, amazing. So I have not been let down by Spain regarding the quality of food. By far, extremely better than the United States. The variety is amazing, and I give it a 12 out of 10.
12 out of 10.
You are not missing the fast food?
Uh, no. So interestingly enough, our daughters wanted like Burger King. And I tried the Burger King. And I remember thinking like, it's not horrible, but my body is kind of done with this whole fast food culture. So I think I did Burger King once. I did Popeyes once. Popeyes was actually pretty good here, so I'm not going to hate on Popeyes. But the body doesn't crave that anymore. Back home, I think you get accustomed to less quality. If you want to go to Whole Foods or you want to get the top organic stuff, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. Whereas here, it's so accessible, and you start to get accustomed to really good quality food. So I think that's the biggest shift for us, or for me rather.
Yeah. And then like going to a grocery store and I want to see what's inside the package or what are the ingredients. It's very simple. I can read every ingredient. It's not a list of 50 things. And if it is, they make it very clear that, hey, there's preservatives in here, there's this in here, but that's very abnormal. So the body has adjusted well. The food has sat very well with us. And like you said, convenience, like restaurants are open till very late at night and there's something to eat. Every other door is a restaurant or a little cafe. And so your ability to just grab something fresh and easy, there's no problem.
I think that that what Spain has, this tapas, is the actual concept of fast food, if you ask me. So that's what I see as fast food.
Right.
It's actually the same, like you said, Gabby. It's something that you can grab and eat fast. Like you don't have to sit at a table, just grab a snack and can move on with your day.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Adam, I fully understand what you mean. I was a KFC addict. I have a history with overweight and so on, but I was a KFC addict, so I loved it. And I haven't had it, in 7-8 years, and then I had it again, and I realized, oh my god, the aftertaste, right. It's yeah, but like when you are used to it, just pull it in. It's perfect.
Sure.
Yep.
Is there something that you miss from US food-wise?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. For me, like spice. Chile. Salsa. I can make it kind of when you find some hot chiles, but I just kept, you back home as California, you can go to any market, on the road, side of the road, and pick up a beautiful little container of freshly made salsa. And out here, we don't have it. So.
Yeah, I agree with her. Even the one of Spain's most popular dishes, patatas bravas, it's alluding to the fact that they are spicy potatoes, and they're not at all. So, I think I definitely miss the spice of Mexican food or even Indian food. We love Indian food, and here a lot of the Indian food is on the more sweet side, like more sugar. Mm-hmm. So I miss the spice for sure.
Guys, I feel you. Germany, nobody in Germany can handle spice. Nobody, like literally nobody. And I love spicy food. I ordered from internet. I don't know if you know the show Hot Ones. Are these guys on YouTube?
Oh yeah.
I ordered those sauces just that I have something really spicy to be able to eat because there's nothing. And recently there was an Indian place which opened not far away from us. Like, I can tell him, give me something spicy, and he gave me something spicy.
Oh, nice.
And it's funny, like a colleague of mine told me, when you go to a store and you say, give me something spicy, ask him, is it German spicy or is it real spicy?
Right.
It's true.
It's true. I go to the market, says, el chile es picante? Mm-hmm. And they say, sí. I say, no, picante, like de España or de Sudamérica? No, Sudamérica está bien. Picante,
Okay.
picantes. Okay.
I think these are things. So I have to be honest. What I love in the US, and I don't consider it fast food, and you might say that I'm wrong, but I love Chipotle. I,
Chipotle is good. I love the concept of Chipotle.
Don't get him wrong. He loves Chipotle. No, this man loves Chipotle.
That's what.
And their green Tabasco salsa and lemons on his burrito bowl.
but that green Tabasco, that sauce, it's
It's phenomenal.
Adam. I
Don't
have
let him
hope.
fool you.
Adam, I have hope for you. So in Frankfurt, in this Europe, there is one Chipotle, and it's in Frankfurt. If you
Nice.
ever come to Germany, in Frankfurt, there is one Chipotle.
We're going.
It's not as good as the one that you know, but
Yeah.
it's kind of the thing that you are used to. So,
I used to eat Chipotle more times than I should have.
but let's be honest.
Let's
be honest. It's good. You can pick your macros. Let's say like this. You can pick your carbs. You can pick your vegetables. You can pick your protein. So I don't see any bad thing in Chipotle. Of course, you should not take the chips. You should not take the bread and so on. That's different topic.
Right.
But besides that, I don't see this fast food concept inside Chipotle.
No,
Well, there's a place here that's called Burrito. Like it's literally called
it
Burrito.
feels like a little bit of
And
a
it's
Chipotle.
kind of Chipotle-esque, but it's not Chipotle.
When was the moment after you landed, you came in, you settled, and you took the girls in school and you said, "Oh, holy crap! I think we are here."
To be honest, I have not had my holy crap moment yet.
I'm sorry.
I know, right? So I think because every day is a new discovery. Every day is nonstop with navigating a new system, looking for something, getting something settled. We're still in that phase. I'm still in that phase. The one thing I will tell you that I did, because our youngest daughter was asking, like, where is New Zealand in regards to where we are? So I pulled up on my phone a picture of the map. I enlarged it. I started, turning the world. And that's when it hit me that I looked really quick and I'm like, see, we're here. And I got a glimpse of the United States and California and I shut the map. Because that's the only time I kind of realized we are freaking living in Spain, way far away. So I'm not going to look at a map for a very long time. Not ready yet.
It's a kind of the
For me,
reality check.
I don't. For me, it was the first night. So we arrived in Barcelona, and our oldest daughter wanted to look at perfume, and we were kind of settling in at the airport. And I knew we had to get to the train station to head to Valencia. And we had all of our big luggage with our cat, and we're racing to get to the train station to take a train to Valencia. And things just weren't working out. And we were running to the train station to get our ticket. And we missed the train. So that moment, it breaks my heart even thinking about it, because our 9-year-old, she was crying because she tried so hard to run and to get to the train station to make the train, and we didn't make it. So as a father, there was the weight of that world of our 9-year-old crying because of that moment. So in that moment, it was like, okay, wake up. This is serious now. We're in a new country. You have to be ready for this move. And I think that was a moment for me when it's like, okay, this is real. We have our whole life in these bags with our cat, and game on. This is the start of a new adventure. So that was the moment for me.
You didn't mention before that you came with a cat, because now I have to ask you, how complicated was it?
Oh my God. Okay. I think I was the most stressed out about the dang cat. I was the weeks leading up, I was stressed, like, how is he going to survive this plane ride in this little tiny carrier because that's the size that the airline will allow. He's gonna fly with us. And even the days, a couple of days before, his health certificate hadn't come in. Freaking UPS lost it. They couldn't find it. They're like, I'm sorry, we're just gonna have to get it to you later. I'm like, you understand? I'm not leaving on vacation. I'm leaving the freaking country for good. I need the damn certificate. Anyways, we get through that hurdle. And then on the plane, it was a long journey. I mean, he was in his little carrier for 16 plus, hours, and he's part of the family. So I'm worried. Is he hydrated? Halfway through our journey, by the time we got to Lisbon, I kind of forgot. I mean, he's there with us and I have him. I may have dropped him in the carrier because I'm racing to get to the gate, forgetting I have a cat. I'm worrying about the kids and the luggage, but he survived. He survived. I survived. It was stressful, but he did amazing, actually. Animals are resilient, just like children. Kids are resilient. Animals are resilient. And he's thriving. He's living his best indoor Spanish cat life now. So
That's also funny. I'm asking you because I know usually it's so complicated to get a pet over the border,
yes,
especially when you do it overseas. So it's always rocket science. And of course, you have also the stress part because you think, okay, what's happening with it? Now, what do we have it? Do we still not we not have it anymore? Is it safe and so on? And that makes everything so complicated. I had someone
right.
they had to stay, I think, longer with 1 month in Europe because they wouldn't allow pet transport during the summer.
Oh, wow.
Because when you have a big dog and it has to go in the luggage area of the airplane, they said that during takeoff and landing it can be up to 50 or 60, 40 or 50 degrees, like Celsius,
Yes.
and then it's too
Too hot.
dangerous, yeah, for the animals. And then they had to extend with 1
Wow.
month the stay in Europe so that they can go back. Yeah. So yeah. You arrived and you took the kids to school. How's the kids' adaptation to the new life?
Oh, gosh. You want to
Yeah,
take it?
we'll go with 9-year-old. We drop off the 9-year-old, and we ask her how her day was, and surprisingly, she's like, "The food was amazing. I had English-speaking friends that helped me out. I the English teacher told me to teach the other Spanish students a English class." So she's like, "I'm in advanced English." So she was excited. She was excited. And we're like, "Oh, cool." We didn't think it was going to be that positive. Our 14-year-old, she was fighting it in the beginning. She didn't want to go the first day. She postponed her first day to the next day. Um, but I think naturally it was harder for the 14-year-old to navigate. She doesn't speak fluent Spanish, navigating relationships with the students, navigating understanding what the teacher was saying. But now she's such a quick learner and she's also self-disciplined, so she's able to ride the waves a lot better than she was at first. So it's night and day. You have the 9-year-old that was all jacked and fired up, and then the 14-year-old who was navigating a lot more difficult time for obvious reasons.
I think 14 is a complicated age.
Yep.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think when you have to go through that in a different country, far away from your friends, like when you think with 14 you have lifetime friends, like you don't know that
Right.
when the school is finished, the friendship is finished. Like you don't know that.
Yep.
You're not aware of that.
Yep.
Right.
And I think that's the
Right.
biggest issue. And how do they get along with the kids? Do they manage to make friends, or people that they are spending time with?
So for the 9-year-old right now, she's already been invited to a couple of birthday parties within the class. So that has been great. And now our conversations have developed into, it's always a core group of girls, students that she's always talking about. So that's like her little crew at school. And then, we're at the step now is like, I need you to get so-and-so's mom's number because we want to hang out outside of school. So it's starting to develop. I'm like, perfect. Isabella, she talks about students in her school, in her class, and she says the girls are really nice. Like she has fun with them. They haven't bridged that gap of hanging out outside of school, but she also plays club volleyball, and that has been amazing. So she has hung out with some of the girls on her volleyball team outside of volleyball. They've gone to a few games other than their own. And so little by little, things are starting to connect for both of them. Other parents we've talked to that are expats and that have been here for a few years said, it really takes about a year for that whole friendship and connection to blossom. And then once it does, it's just nonstop. It's like a flood. But they said multiple people said, you just really got to ride it out for a year. And then it starts happening.
You mentioned, Gabby, the birthday parties. Do you see them different than you know them from US?
So, I mean, yeah. I feel like they're fun. Of course, birthday parties in the States were fun. I don't want to say they're toned down. It's a lot more simple, but in the sense that it's just pure enjoyment for the kids, and it's very organized. The parents say, all right, like the whole class is invited. Let me know who's, RSVP if you can come. So you show up. It's usually kind of like either at a park or a small like room hall has been rented. And they say, oh, you can just leave the kids. It's organized. We have somebody watching it. We have a whole organized, evening for the kids. They'll be fed and you come pick them up at this time. Or you can hang out, whatever you want to do. All the parties we've been to, the parents don't hang out. They leave. So at first it's kind of like, we don't know the area. We don't know these people. Our kids don't know our Spanish phone numbers. So we kind of linger. But the one thing that I haven't experienced yet, but I know it's coming. In the States, you bring a personal birthday gift for the kid. But in Spain, I've been told that everybody sends like, for my state people, a Zelle or like a bizum to the parents. You send a small amount of money. Everybody sends the money, and the parents are able to buy one large gift for the birthday person. I love that. I think that's freaking phenomenal. No stress. The parents can get a large gift for the kid, whatever they want. I think it's good.
In Germany, what they say. So I have to. When you said this thing, you mentioned that you have to leave your kid. First time, I had a huge discussion with my wife because I said I'm not able to leave the kid there. How should I don't know those guys. I don't care that they know each other from kindergarten. I don't care. I just don't care. And like I live in Germany, the invite said they have to be there at 10:15. And they have to be picked up at 14:15. Yeah, I live in Germany. Right. I'm telling you again. And I was there. 10:16. You were late.
Oh my gosh!
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I will try to do because you think 10:15 means like, man, we talk about kids. Give me a 5-minute window, like a 10-minute window.
Right.
You're late. Sorry, it will never happen again. And I learned now. And then we had our son's birthday. And guys, I've never seen something like this. So it was all there at the same time.
Wow.
This is something which is confusing at the beginning, but you get used to it. Like it's like this. And with the presents, because you mentioned the presents, they share a shopping list. And for example, they share a shopping list, either Amazon, either Decathlon, if they want to have a bike, for example, or something bigger, then you say, okay, and you can buy in the present. Like you can decide your amount and just add in the present. Like you say, I want to take part in the bike with, I don't know, 20 euros or something like this. And then and this is also, I'm fully with you. Instead of me bringing him a toy that most probably will not be using it, then it's better that I take part in the bigger gift. Feels much better.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think that's great. Now I think that like we got to invite the German people to a Mexican birthday party. They're gonna lose their mind because nobody shows up on time. People show up about 1 hour, 2 hours later.
Guys, I work in the international department of a company, and we have meetings with the guys from Portugal, Spain. I keep telling them, guys, no, they are not on time. No, don't even expect it. It's a cultural thing. You have to accept it. That's it. It is how it is. Why are you stressing? But they are not on time. We know. And we know that from the beginning.
We know.
Don't stress.
Exactly.
Yeah, the biggest saying out here in Spain that I've learned, no pasa nada.
No pasa nada.
Don't worry about it. And so if it's me showing up late to reservations, no pasa nada. But when I hear no pasa nada, when it comes to like paperwork and appointment times, I freak out. I'm like, come on, let's go. We need efficiency. I don't want no pasa nada. I want to do it.
No pasa nada is always there, yeah. I heard no pasa nada as well. Do the girls ever mention like that they are missing home?
Definitely. The 14-year-old for sure, we haven't heard that in a couple weeks, but it's a day by day process. Um, Not so much from the 9-year-old. I think 9-year-olds live in the moment a lot more than a 14-year-old would. But yeah, I mean, you have to realize that coming from the United States has a lot of cliche moments in time. And that's your freshman year in high school, and then the Friday night football games, and then the dances. So there's a lot of stereotypical moments in a teenager's life that you could experience through pop culture, just in general. So when
Right.
she sees her other friends going through those moments, of course you're going to potentially miss that, right? um
Even navigating holidays, right? So we have a certain way that we're accustomed to celebrating holidays, and a lot of that is with family and friends. Out here, it's going to look a little different, but I'm really big on saying, like, okay, it's going to look different. But let's focus on learning the culture and how we can celebrate this holiday in a new way, in a new tradition. Let's just focus on that instead of focusing on what we don't have here. It's what newness we can experience out here.
and then
So
I think too, the newness, we're going to take a flight to Rome next week. See, so these are things like you can't get when you're living in the United States. You can't go to Italy for a couple of days in a weekday in a 2-hour flight. So we're trying to like paint the picture of like, listen, you might be giving up a high school dance, but you're gonna get Rome, you're gonna get Paris, you're gonna get the world. So it's definitely a day by day process, but I think overall we're adjusting pretty well.
I think it's always a matter of balancing things, like to see the pluses and the minuses, because you always have
yeah.
it. You had it at home, you
Right.
have it when you go in a new country, you have it everywhere. You just have to learn how to balance them and to show them the benefits and not the
Right.
negatives at the end. The positives are the most important. Um, Guys, how do you feel that is the life in Spain compared to the one in South California, and from the affordability's point of view?
So affordability, I heard somebody say that living in Spain allows you to feel human. And when I heard that, it resonated with me because maybe in California, maybe in the United States, I don't want to overgeneralize, but we are in a machine. You're in a producing machine. If you're not producing, you're not worth. Maybe you feel guilty if you're not constantly working. You're constantly on your grind, as you said. Whereas Spain, there's so many things that are either free or affordable, and the lifestyle, you don't always feel like you have to be producing or grinding. So it's a little bit more attention on living life,
Mhm.
enjoying life, celebrating life. So from affordability, but I think just an overall mindset of lifestyle, you feel human. You feel like you're able to live a life that's worthy of your time on earth. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Right. And I think I mean, it's just the economy that is right now. And I'm speaking from California or the United States as well. But many people you talk to, say, like, we work and we work hard. And it's not so that we can, the term of keeping up with the Joneses, so we can have the best of the best. People are working hard just to afford the bare minimum lifestyle of food, transportation, housing. So that's horrible when you work so hard and you're doing it just so you can get by. So you can't even think about enjoying. It's not even a luxury, but just having that freedom to relax and to indulge a little bit, um, and eating out and taking small trips and having experiences with the family or having get-togethers. Those are all things that are now like, I don't know if we can do that, and that's sad because you want to. That's part of life.
Or where people don't even take care of their health because they don't want to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a twisted system, but it is unfortunately the reality for a lot of people.
I think that one of the nicest saying that I've heard was that the US and part of the Western Europe as well. So I can say for Germany, most of it is the same, and or for I don't know. I think Germany is the best example because I know it is that people are leaving to work. There is no other motivation. There is no other things that they are focusing on. They are focusing, tomorrow I have to wake up, I have to go to work, I have to stay until the evening and then come home, and that's it. And if you put it in comparison with the southern of Europe, with Spain, with Italy, Portugal, people are working just to live. So they are not.
Right.
They're just trying to get a good food, a good dinner, a good glass of wine, and that's it. So there's no rocket science behind it. And I find that way of working, of doing things, I find it interesting and better, because Adam, like you said, I think we are missing a lot of our life in this grinding process, because the life is the one that is going by while you are trying to get another project, another PowerPoint, another Excel filled in, and so on. And at the end, the maybe the benefit is not there. And like you said, Gabby, now you get into this is economical situation that is everywhere, and I don't know exactly the US one, but also the retirement looks further away than it was before. And I think this makes things complicated, because your motivation to do anything is gone. Like you don't know when it's gonna end, right?
Right.
How do you keep the contact with the family?
With WhatsApp, with Zooms,
Instagram.
they joke with us that, oh, we see you every day. You're on Instagram every day.
Yeah.
But I think, obviously phone calls, WhatsApps.
Yeah.
So
I think it's amazing. Like, if we moved 20 years earlier, I forget it, especially with the girls, our oldest, she does have a phone, so she's able to WhatsApp and talk to her close friends in the States. And then our youngest, we've been able to set up Zooms for her so she can sit there and chat for 2 hours. I don't know what they're talking about for 2 hours on a Zoom, but they visually get to see their friends, their grandparents, aunts and uncles. So makes it nice.
It's amazing. I think it's the technology is helping a lot in this situation. I think if it's used right, it has to be in our benefit for sure. Do you feel? I know it's maybe it's a long shot, but one of the things that I got heard, or I heard pretty often from the people moving out of the US, was the safety that they felt in a different country. And I want to ask you, is something that you realize every day, or you only realize it when you read about something that happened in the US?
I'll speak on that. So we lived in a nice neighborhood, great community, but for some bizarre reason, if I was walking the dog or if I was just walking alone, you can't help but think, is this car gonna shoot me? I mean, it's very bizarre. It's very bizarre to have these
Crazy,
thoughts
man.
when
That's
you're
crazy.
living, when you're just living in a typically normal life.
I'm
Uh,
not gonna. I'll speak on it. You keep going.
yeah, and then here I have complete peace of mind. So obviously there's huge gun culture in the United States. Obviously there's a huge safety issue going on. Um, And at the very least, you have peace of mind knowing that that one variable is eliminated, and that, that variable being access to so many guns. So yeah, I mean, to be very blunt with you, if I'm walking around at night, I still think in the United States, is this person going to potentially shoot me, or do I have to look behind my back? So it's kind of a weird uh, way to live, I think.
So from mom's perspective, with the girls, Adam's right. We did move from a nice community, but it still was a small community. And it still had its problems. I mean, I'm a crime scene investigator, so I understand. I understand. I worked in a city just on the other side of where we lived, so I knew what would go on day to day. And I even still checking the news and staying up to date. 1 week after we moved out here, 2 people were shot and killed. Uh, one day after the other in a park near our house, gang violence. And yeah, that happens everywhere. But I'm like, it's not happening here in Valencia. That was my first thought. I'm like, just down the street from us, 2 people, 2 gang members were shot and killed in a park where children would play. And so would I let my oldest say, hey, can I go to the store and, or can I go down to the park and go walk with my friends? In my head and back home? Absolutely not. Because of the random acts of violence, because being caught in the crossfire. Out here, that switched automatically, and it wasn't by choice. It kind of just happened. Kids have a lot more independence out here at a younger age. And so she is walking to school. She is walking far to volleyball. And we're still smart about it. We still take precautions, but that wouldn't be happening in the States where we lived. Absolutely not. So,
Is it hard to raise kids in the same area where you are doing your profession? I'm talking about the crime scene investigation part. Is it something that affects you when you realize, okay, this is like 10 minutes away from my house?
mhm. Yes and no, because it's always, in my psyche, where I was hyper aware of all the crimes that were constantly occurring, right? Robberies, assaults, um, homicides. But I also know that, you can't live life in fear. But there were plenty of areas that I would never take the kids to, and they never knew why, but we just not going there because way too much activity, right? So it did kind of affect on the sense of how I would operate and how the areas I would take the girls, or let's go out to eat at this restaurant. Absolutely not. And they wouldn't have to know why, but it's like, oh, because I've worked 4 homicides within like, a 500-foot radius of this area. Um, so yeah, and that's one thing, like, I'm not doing crime scene out here, so my mind has shifted a little bit. My psyche has shifted out here.
I
But
would
I still have my antennas on, and I get a sense of the community out here is amazing. Sure, bad things are going to happen, but it feels safe. It feels family oriented, and there's so many good people outside on the streets having eyes on kids. And so I don't have this like fear of what could happen, who's going to be out there, are my kids going to get caught in the crossfire of some sort of gang shooting?
I did say this story a few times in the podcast, but I read Michelle Obama's book, and one of the things that impressed me in the book was that she said period when she was growing up, she had the feeling that she was educated by the neighborhood. Like if she was out in the neighborhood, she was afraid to do something bad because the neighbor from there would call her mother and say, be careful, Michelle did this and this and this. And when I was going home, I was getting like, I heard that you did this and that because Miss Johnson called me and told me. And now, like, I hear what Adam is saying, that yeah, I was walking my dog, or maybe I was walking with my kids in my neighborhood, and I was thinking, do they have a gun? Is this community spirit gone in the US? I have to ask you, like, in a pure blunt way.
I don't want to speak about the US. I could just speak about the city that we were in. I think the community was super strong where we lived, especially our neighborhood. You can't get away with anything in our neighborhood back home. There was always somebody watching and making sure. Even when I was out of town on a work meeting or a business trip, where's Adam? I haven't seen him I haven't seen his car in 5 days.
Yeah.
So, you know, specifically for where we were, we had a strong community. Um, Generalizing, maybe communities leaving in the United States. I mean, obviously, maybe people are more concerned with themselves and getting ahead and climbing the ladder and being the best. But, you know, I'm a romantic, and I tend to have hope and faith in the vision of the United States, even though right now it doesn't seem recognizable. I think the vision of it, I still believe in the idea of it. So I'll keep the faith.
I said it several times. I'm a US fanboy. I'm a typical US fanboy. I grew up with all the movies from US. I grew up with all the cliches from every movie of the US. I know the yellow school buses. I know everything from the US. I was fascinated by them, and I have to say, Adam, I'm a bit disappointed of the direction that the country is heading towards now. And we don't talk about politics because that's maybe so subjective that nobody wants to address. But general, the amount of, I don't want maybe hate is the right word. The fact that people are not talking to each other like they used to, like this. We are having other persons fight between the neighbors, between inside the family, and this is something which is unhealthy on a long term, and it can only lead to a bigger creating a bigger gap in the society, and this is not something that I knew from the US. This is not something that I've seen in the movies, and more than that, you're raised up there, so you are saying,
Right.
I would say the same as me, and that makes me sad. I have to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna be naive though, and I do believe in a brighter future. I mean, I think everything has to go through its phases of darkness to get to the light, and I'm holding on to that. Um, because we do appreciate the United States. We do love the United States. We don't bash the United States. But like I said, it's not recognizable right now, but I think there's a lot of hope for the future for sure.
I'm afraid only that it will get worse before it will get better. That's
I think so.
Right.
that's my fear only.
Which we'll brighten up the mood a little bit here. Our family members.
I'm sorry for that.
No, our family members like, man, you guys picked the perfect time. And this movie has nothing to do with politics, but they're like, you know what? This is the perfect time. You know, you guys did great. You guys are awesome. So
It's so important to have this conversation and to mention it a lot of times. We don't talk about politics. Like, no, we just talked about the state of the society, and this is important
Yeah.
to say.
Right.
And I think
Yeah.
that's what's scary. Not the politics. The politics is today like this, tomorrow it's changing in a different direction. Everyone has his own interests. So let's be honest, it is how it is, and it's not the perfect system, but it's the best system that we have until now. So it's democracy, and I keep saying
Right.
the same, that US is the only country that haven't had a dictatorship in the history,
Right.
and I hope it will
Right.
stay the same.
Yeah. Agree.
Agree.
Guys, how did you manage to integrate the social life in Spain? Did you manage to make connections, to make friends? You mentioned the kids' parents, which I know as well as a story, but they are the kids' parents. They are not really your friends, let's say,
Right.
like this in most of the cases.
I'm gonna let you take it. You're my social butterfly right here.
I am a serial inviter. I invite myself to everybody's house. If I meet somebody that's from Italy, I say, "Oh my gosh, when are you gonna invite us over for dinner?" If I know someone from Colombia, the same thing. So I love people. I think, you know, my biggest jam on life is relationship building. So I love to connect with so many diverse people, and that's something that we've always had as a couple. So in terms of integrating, we've just been lucky with that, but also we've been intentional with wanting to connect with locals and have dinner with locals, and I want to learn. So I think just having that curiosity makes life easier because it makes the connections open up for you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. By the way, if you ever in Germany, you are more than welcome to a dinner.
Oh, I've already invited myself to your house.
So look, and now I understand why you are so open to have this conversation, because I understand now. Everything makes sense.
You see where we're going with this.
So when I go to Germany, I'm gonna go get some chipotle.
I'm not far. I'm not close from Frankfurt, but also not far away. Okay, so just drop me. I will come and pick you up, and we go to have nice chipotle in Frankfurt.
Chipotle.
You already mentioned that you are trying to get to know the locals, and I think it's important, because if you get to know expats, the next problem with the expats is that you don't know how long they are there. Like, not everyone has the decision to stay like you. Most of the people are there because they have a job, they have a temporary work arrangement. But do you have the feeling that the connection, when it's realized with the locals, is better than with the expats? Because with the expats, it's quite movable.
I can't say that. It's going to be different. So, and I'm sorry I have to take this one. When you're connecting with locals, it's like a foundation. I feel like a part of the city I'm in. I feel like I'm a part of the country I'm in. So I feel fulfilled with a deeper sense of belonging because of those connections.
Mm-hmm.
But having connections with expats is pretty cool because you have similar mindset, right? Like, oh, you're crazy too. You left your country to move here.
Yes.
You don't think like other people that just stay in their hometown for the rest of their lives. So it's kind of cool. Like, I love all people, and there's a way to learn from the locals and, you know, other immigrants, expats. I think it's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. You guys are connecting, like you said, with the locals. You're building this foundation. You feel that you are tapping into the culture and the richness of where you are. And then with the expats, like, you're going through the same crap. So you can connect on the same, you have that connection. I'm struggling there too, and so are you. So you understand, you have this emotional connection with an expat.
I have to say, the reason why I started this podcast was exactly this one, to realize that I'm not the only one going through this crap. I'm not the only one
Right.
doing it. I want to know the people that took the same decision as us and just say, you know what, duck it, let's go. Let's see how it is. Let's see.
Yeah.
Just let's
That's
see.
awesome.
Absolutely.
And I think that this attitude is something that is connecting you, because you realize, as I said before, the world is not as big as your village. And I realize quite often when I go back to my home village, to my home village in Romania, that people are still there, and they are the same people that I left 10 years ago, 15 years. Nothing has changed. Nothing, because they
Yeah.
are their world is still that small world. They are amazing in that world, don't get me wrong, and they are happy. And if they are
Right.
choosing this, everyone should choose for themselves. But I think it's so important that you connect to the same crazy people, like you said, Adam. Like you say,
Right.
Mhm.
let's go. What can happen? Nothing. Like, we
Yeah.
have to do this.
I love it.
Um, what was the biggest change that you have seen in the way in your life since you moved? Was it, I don't know, the pace? Was it the priorities that it changed since you moved to Spain? Um, I don't think we have to talk about identity yet, because you are not that long in Spain. But I think, was it the pace of your life? Was it the priorities of your life? What do you feel it's different in the first period of Spain?
Okay, for me, my own personal physiological change, I'm much more relaxed out here. I'm much less stress. Like, I don't have to stress like I did back in the States, because I'm not go, go, go. So physiologically, I feel much better. I feel healthier. I feel rested. Like, I think I'm making up for all the sleep I didn't get in the United States. And then um, I'm being pushed out of my comfort zone. I was very confident in who I was as an individual in the United States. I knew who I was. And here I am out here now discovering many more, new things about maybe what my weaknesses are and what my strengths are, and having to push myself out of comfort zone to try and figure out X, Y, and Z with the new language. And then as a mom, my third avenue, oh, it's amazing, because I love being a mom and I love my girls. But I did have a career that was very demanding, and I had to balance that. And I wasn't always able to give my all to them. And now I'm in a position, because of Spain and what I'm able to do out here, the simple things I always say, like, I get to do our little one's hair in the morning. Like, that never really happened because I was already at work. I get to ask, what do you want for breakfast? I get to make, I get to nourish them with amazing meals and put, my heart and passion into actually spending quality time with them. So I get to be a mom, and it feels so good.
I think for me, similar to what she said, it's the nervous system. So I always tell people, like, you owe it to yourself for your nervous system to just be completely relaxed. You don't have to be in this fight or flight mode the rest of your life. We hear from a lot of Americans that are considering moving, and they all say the same thing. We're so stressed. We don't, it's just there's other ways to live and there's other ways to do things. And I feel like if it's in someone's heart to potentially move outside of their country, they owe it to themselves to give it a try, because you'll realize that A, the nervous system will love you for it, but B, it's like this magical, mystical world where you enter into another realm of life, of living. There's different ways, like you say, outside of your village. And everybody has their own village, whether they're in a big city or not. But even if you are from New York City, your little village is that one street that you're always in. So moving abroad, I think, is a gift. And if it's in your heart, I always encourage people to give it a shot.
Mhm.
I love what you said, Adam, because this is what I meant by village. I came from a village, but I always say it doesn't matter if you're originally from New York or from Sydney, you have your village, you have your tribe, you have the people that know you, the people that say hello to you when they see you on the street, the people
Right.
like this is the village that I mean. I think this is exactly what you meant as well.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Um, it's I enjoy this conversation. I realize more and more that as much as I meet people that took this step, we are on the same wavelength. We are absolutely on the
Right.
same wavelength, and I think it makes a lot of fun to have these discussions. And I always remember why I started doing this, and I enjoy the hell out of this conversation. And guys, we're not finished yet, but I want to say again, thank you for taking the time. It was already a pleasure for me. I still have some things that I want to go through, but it was already a pleasure for me. Before we go towards the end, I have some rapid fire questions, which I try to tailor on the guest. So the first one, I'm focusing on the food because I like food, but that's not the bigger topic. Tapas or paella?
Tapas or paella?
Yeah.
Tapas.
I'm going tapas.
You don't like paella, or you just prefer tapas?
No, I enjoy paella. I just prefer the tapas. Like if you're just asking me right now, rapid fire, I'm gonna go with tapas for
Perfect.
You
sure.
get like small bites, you get a variety. There's a lot of seafood involved. Tapas, yeah.
Your favorite Spanish phrase so far?
Mine's que guay. Que guay.
Que guay?
Que guay. Yeah, like that's badass. That's cool.
Oh,
Que
okay.
guay.
I didn't heard it.
Mine, tranquilo. Todo, tranquilo.
No pasa
tranquilo.
nada.
No
No
pasa
pasa
nada.
No pasa nada.
Same.
A Spanish word that you still are pronouncing wrong.
I can't even say it right now. It's the main plaza. Ayudamiento.
Ayuntamiento.
I just say ayúdame. I can't. I cannot.
Well, I will say this. I have not once said vale
Oh yeah.
in my day-to-day language. So that's a word that I haven't been able to say yet because I haven't ever said it. So I've never used vale.
What I heard a lot, I have a Brazilian friend who lived in Barcelona for a while, and of course he took the habit from Barcelona. He keeps saying tío. I don't know if tío is
Tío.
something which is Spanish, but that was something that I heard with Rafa all the time.
Right.
Time. What was the hardest day of your entire move?
Gosh, hardest day of the entire move. It was the flight, the journey, the airport, LAX, Los Angeles Airport, flying into Lisbon, connecting flight to, missing the train in Barcelona. We haven't slept, after that it's been a breeze.
I'd say that too, because it was the weight of the luggage. You have 4 heavy luggages. You have your kids roaming around. They're looking at you for leadership and where are we going and what time is this? And then you mess up that day. As a dad, that broke my heart. And then you have a cat. So that was our hardest day for sure.
Yeah.
Hidden gem that you discovered in Spain?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So, wow. What is it called?
It's good that you know. It's good that you know.
What is it? Is it a place?
No, it's
person, place, or thing?
No, not Teruel, but
Albarracín?
Albarracín. Okay, we went to Albarracín. That's a hidden gem. A lot of people don't know about it.
I never heard about it.
It's a gorgeous medieval
village
in the mountains, and it is gorgeous. And it was colder up there. The air was crisp. I'll send you photos of it, but it is. I loved it. Albarracín.
Never heard about it, to be honest. Never heard about this. The beach in California or the beach in Valencia? I knew it. I knew it.
Different. Okay, but we have to pick a beach. Okay, beach in Northern California or beach in Valencia? If I'm getting in the water, beach in Valencia all day. It's warm. It's clear. You can enjoy it. Northern California beaches, you freeze your butt off. They're gorgeous, but you're not getting in. No.
I'm gonna say the beauty of Southern California beaches. You love Southern California beaches, but I would much rather get in Valencia water.
Yeah. The Mediterranean waters, like there's something beautiful about them that you just can't compete with.
That's so interesting. That's only because I did expect you to say California all day long, but
if you put both coastlines, though, if you put the whole coast of the Mediterranean of Valencia all the way up to Barcelona and south to Alicante, I imagine it's very comparable. It's beautiful.
Mhm.
Different terrains, different styles. They're both equally gorgeous.
Guys, the last one. If it would be to start again from the beginning to do the move, would you do it again?
I would.
Oh, if we had to do this all over again, absolutely.
It's exciting. It's exhilarating. It's everybody should do it if it's in their heart to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Guys, the last question of today. Where is home?
Where is home? I think wherever my wife and daughters are. That sounds so cheesy, but it's true. So we could be anywhere in the world as long as I have my wife and daughters.
Yeah.
And I apologize to the rest of our family. We're really close with all of my family. I love my mom, dad, my aunts and uncles, everybody. I love them all. But I think we've put a really strong emphasis on our girls and us as a couple.
Yeah.
So that's our nucleus for sure.
Oh, if you were to ask our kids, home is in California. But
which makes
for
sense,
us,
guys. Come on, give them some time. Like
Yeah,
you said, give
I
them
feel
1
like-
year.
yeah, but I'm on the same wavelength as him. For home is where we are as a family unit.
And
That is home.
I have to say, fully agree with you. I keep asking this question, and I realize more and more that home is a feeling, is not a place. Because usually the place that you remember as home does not exist anymore. Because you don't
Right.
remember the place itself. You remember still a feeling that you had in that place. And usually, in most of the cases, that feeling is not there anymore.
Right.
And I have to say, this discussion I love. I don't know if you guys know Friends, the TV series. You know it? And there's a line from Rachel in Friends which saying, I love my mother, but a long lunch with her is too much. So
That's true.
Yeah.
I love you, Mom.
so it's no, but I fully with you. I think that home is where the family is. Guys, again, thank you so much. I have to say, because I haven't mentioned that now you're producing amazing content on Instagram. I have to say you're bringing a smile on my face every time when I see something from you. This is how I start to get to know you, because this is what I do. I usually don't invite everyone. I just follow them and then try to see how they are, and I realize that could be a match. That could be a real match, because I see we have the same humor. I will link your Instagram down, and besides Instagram, if you want, tell people where they can find you.
Ooh, if you want to hear crime scene stories, she tells real crime scene stories at thewallsdotalk.com.
The podcast, but on Spotify as well.
I will link it below.
thewallsdotalk.com.
And thank you. And my wife will love it, because my wife is a huge fan of a crime podcast. And
Perfect.
Good.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you a lot for your time. Do appreciate it a lot, and I do hope that visit of you in Germany will happen one day, and we get to know each other, because you're amazing human beings. You're amazing guys.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, we would love to come see you in Germany. We're gonna make it happen
with some chipotle.
Chipotle. I'm not asking for a sponsorship or something, but we said your name too many times today.
No, let's ask for a sponsorship. Guys,
thank you so much. See you at the next time. I hope we do this again one day. Talk to you soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you so much.